Hello, my name is Julia Sainz, and today I'm going to talk about the article The Early Spanish and English Writing Development of Simultaneous Bilingual Preschoolers. This article was written by Lucinda Soltero Gonzalez and Sandra Bobilovsky. This article is a qualitative study that investigates the children's understanding of the nature of writing in Spanish and English as demonstrated in their written productions and interpretations of their own text, as well as how such understanding develops over time. The two research questions in this study were: what are the biliterate levels of conceptualization about writing exhibited by simultaneous bilingual preschool children, and how do these levels of conceptualization change over time? The authors define simultaneous bilinguals as children who develop two languages concurrently but have different levels of proficiency in each language depending on their needs and opportunities to use either language at home, school, or in the community. The two frameworks that were used in this study were the constructivist framework and the holistic bilingualism and translanguaging perspective. 28 bilingual children participate in this study. The authors used the general writing task in Spanish and created an adapted version in English to assess children's writing level of proficiency. The preschoolers were enrolled in a school where 88% of the student population was Latino, 97% of the students qualified for free or reduced lunch. The teachers use the Creative Curriculum System, the Spanish version, and there was no formal writing curriculum. The Creative Curriculum System is a theme-based curriculum that provides phonological awareness, comprehension, and print awareness through reading activities. Even though there was no formal writing curriculum, the teacher selected a daily writing prompt that was connected to the reading lesson. The teachers modeled their own responses to the prompt by drawing and writing. When modeling the writing process in Spanish, teachers emphasize identifying the initial sounds of words rather than syllables. Independently, children then drew and wrote in their journals and interpreted the writing for the teacher to transcribe. Children were taught Spanish letter sounds before letter names. There was an English language development program that was scheduled daily for 10 to 15 minutes. During this program, children learned chants, sang songs, and listened to English translations of books that had been read in Spanish. The preschool program did not provide formal literacy instruction in English. However, English was the means of instruction during music, art, and physical education. The purpose of this study was examining children's early writing so we can help teachers understand literacy development and improve instruction. The authors collect data by observing and listening to children as they wrote, and they give the students the general writing task twice a year, on November and on May. When the students took the general writing task, they were asked to write their name, the name of a family member or friend, 4 high-frequency words, 3 least-frequency words, and a short sentence. After writing each word and sentence, each child was asked to read what was written. A week later, the children were given the writing task in English with the same procedure as in Spanish. Before writing the word or sentence in English, the child was asked to translate the meaning of the word or sentence in Spanish to verify if they knew the meaning of the word or the sentence. In order to analyze the data, the authors identify and compare the children's level of conceptualization in English and Spanish. The children's writing in each language was categorized into 5 to 6 levels based on the conceptualization framework of Ferreiro and Tversky. In this article, the authors provide examples of students' writing tasks. The authors found that their levels of conceptualization about writing in the two languages were similar, even though the students did not receive formal literacy instruction in English. The findings have implications for writing instruction in bilingual contexts. That means teachers need to validate the students' knowledge about their two languages. Also, the instructional practices need to have a baseline. That means the teachers need to know the existing levels of writing conceptualizations that the students have in each languages, and also when the students are given appropriate support, they are able to see themselves as capable of writing even though they haven't have formal education in any of the languages. By allowing students to use drawings instead of letters gives the students the confidence they need in order to continue the writing process. In this study, there were limitations. The authors at the end of the article said that the limitations of this study were that the sample of the students was really small. The writing tasks collected were only twice a year, which prevent them from observing the development of the writing, and there were few multi-syllable words. One of the critiques I have of this article is that there was no a deep explanation on how the students acquire writing skills in the classroom. It is true that the authors explain that the teachers give the students a prompt and then they model how to draw or write about the prompt, and then they transcribe the children's interpretation of their writing. But I would like to know how these prompts were different throughout the year. This article can help with policy by developing a curriculum that has or that allows students to use drawing to develop the writing skills. Also, it can help with policy by giving the parents and the community the necessary tools to help these students, but also to assess the students at the beginning of the year and to know their language proficiency at the beginning and at the end of the year. This article relates to Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the book Language and Literacy Development in Bilingual Settings, by saying that families don't raise children in isolation. That means we need the community to be involved in the children's education, but also to find ways in which children experience language at home but also in the community. And in chapter 2, it talks about how the students transfer uh, phonological and morphological um, skills from L1 to L2, especially in Spanish and English, because the two languages share the alphabetic writing system. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy my presentation.